Hi, it's me, Carrie. I just got back from eating out. I met with a friend. For about an hour or so. We had dinner together and we talked. And I'm gonna be probably meeting with him again sometime before I leave. You know. I'm I was thinking, about like sometimes romanticizing about things in the past, or thinking things were good, or better in a previous time period, or in the past compared to today. So for an example, I tend to romanticize about like past time periods of like the 50s or the 60s or the early 20th century, and I guess in many ways I do that because I wasn't alive, so I wasn't around to see the negative parts about it. So I tend to admire political people of that time period and think, oh, they're so wonderful, and the time period they grew up in must have been enjoyable because it enabled them to become a leader in their time in their community or in the country or whatever. But obviously what I don't realize is that it was probably a very difficult time period for these people to grow up in, having to go through a period where there weren't a lot of vaccines, and there was all kinds of different sicknesses people got, as well as there was massive amounts of poverty, and depending on who you were in the world, very much was you were either very rich or you were very poor. I mean, there was a tiny middle class, but obviously, people, most people, were not better off necessarily, especially if you were on the bottom end of the barrel. Life was very terrible for you. So anyways, I was thinking about that in general, and just how a lot of times I may look at something in the past as being better than what it really was. Case in point, when I was a teenager and a kid, back then, obviously, life wasn't so wonderful for me, and I didn't have the greatest experience in school. However, compared to now, sometimes I feel like that I did, because obviously, I didn't have to worry about work, I didn't have to worry about my future. Everybody was in the same situation as me, and nobody was better than me or moving on with their life, and I wasn't, type of thing. Where today, people have moved on with their life, and they have careers, or they're living on their own, or maybe even they have families or a partner, and yeah, so sometimes I tend to do that, romanticize about things in the past when really, things weren't that way. And it's not that I want to go back to high school at all, or have to go through getting up early and all that stuff all over again. It's just that there are certain parts about it, of being a child and being innocent and not thinking about the world all the time and worrying about everything, being kind of spaced out about things and being kind of ignorant, and being happy because, I don't know what's sad and miserable about. I don't know how to feel bad about anything, right? Because there's nothing to feel bad about. So that's just kind of how I feel, when it comes to a lot of those type of things. And I'm just wondering, how do any of you feel? Do you feel the same way that I do about the past? Do you romanticize about it, or do you think things are better off than they really were? Maybe it's an Asperger's thing. I don't know. Is it an Asperger's thing for many of you people? I'd like to hear from you. Okay, well, that's all I have to say. So I'm just going to stop now, and bye for now.